What's up? In this video, we're going to be talking about the Dynamics tool, which sits at the bottom of the tool screen. And you can get to the tool screen just by clicking the little briefcase in the bottom right of the home screen, scrolling down to the bottom, and you'll see Dynamics. So in order for this tool to work, you need just a selected property or multiple selected properties or multiple layers with multiple selected properties. Let's start with just the position property to keep this nice and easy. So I'll select the position property, and since it's active, I can use the Dynamics tool. I'm going to go ahead and click Dynamics, and you're not going to really notice anything that happens other than an expression is added to the layer. If I were to preview this, you're going to notice we now have a little bit of a wiggle expression added to the tool, or added to the property, but it actually has a little bit more happening in the background. If we go over to our effect controls for shape layer 1, you're going to see we now have these custom effect controls with some different properties we can actually change. So you have stuff where you can just disable or enable your expression. So if you just wanted to have kind of a static value with no wiggle, you could have enabled disabled, or if you have the checkbox enabled, you're going to see our expression is being applied. So we're going to keep the type on smooth. We also have a hold one, which we'll talk about in a second. And let's take a look at the frequency property. So by default, it's set to 1.5. So that just means the amount of 250 is going to be applied to whatever value you have selected. So 250 is going to be the value that it can change in the X and Y coordinates for the position property, and it's going to happen 1.5 times per second. If I were to turn this up to 30, it's basically going to be 30 times per second. We're going to have a 250 value change on our position property. So it's going to be a nice and fast kind of wiggle, which is a nice and fun little effect. If you want to have a larger amount, you can set your amount to a higher value, like 1,000. You're going to see that we're now having a bigger change. I'm going to go ahead and knock this frequency down to something like 5 so we can actually see what's happening. And when we get this preview, you're going to see we have this nice kind of big movement. If you wanted a smaller value, obviously just knock this down to a smaller amount, and you're going to get this nice little 5-point change. Additionally, in this little effect control, you can toggle down the separation, and if you enable this, we can actually make changes to just the X or Y. So if I set the X to 0 and the Z to 0, that means that this wiggle movement or dynamics movement, would have to change the Y amount in the separation now. So if we're going to turn this up to like 474, that means 5 times per second, only the Y value for our X and Y coordinates is going to be changed. So if I go ahead and preview this, we're now going to get this nice little wiggle just on the Y value. So if I wanted to do the Y value by 474 and the X value by something like 5, we're now, well, maybe a little bit larger so we can see. Maybe something like 117, we're now going to have a little bit more control. So just a really nice handy way to kind of affect your wiggle or dynamics expression in a nice and easy interface. So what's also nice about this is if you ever wanted to change your type to something like hold, we're actually going to get these nice kind of static changes, which is one of my very favorite tools. And in future videos, I'll be showing you some kind of advanced uses where you can combine a lot of tools together. I use the Dynamics tool quite a bit. It's one of my very favorite. And in a nutshell, this is Dynamics. Hope you have fun using it. And I'll actually do just one other quick demo where we'll add it just to the rotation. So rotation is selected. We'll go click Dynamics. And if we preview this, we're going to have that 250 value change onto our degrees. You can get a little preview here. It's going up to 198. And you can also set this into the negative. So like negative 300 if you were happy. And in this case, you'll notice we don't have the separation because it's only a single coordinate property. So rotation is just one value. It doesn't have like an X, Y like position.